Our 5 o'clock half hour, Animal Control goes after a suburban woman accused of running a puppy mill.
Our agency is again taking action against a woman they say continues to keep dozens upon dozens of dogs and cats cramped in filthy cages. The animals had been living in pet squalor, according to the officials, inside a small shed outside Patricia Gorecki's Joliet home. And this is not the first time this woman's home has been raided.
The woman is now facing a $2,000 fine or a year in jail, or maybe even both. Dorothy Tucker is live in Joliet with the latest developments on this disturbing story. Dorothy.
Well, Linda, animal welfare workers are still here at the home of Patricia Gorecki. They're still in the process of removing the dogs from the home, from the shed behind here in her property. They are really, in essence, rescuing these dogs from a very bad situation. In a shed that may have comfortably held 2 or 3 dogs, there are at least 60, crammed in cages, stacked on top of each other, living in their own filth.
Matted, she's full of urine and feces. She's in a cage, rotten food, no water. Terrible condition.
Get off my property.
I mean, if you're not doing anything wrong, what's wrong with allowing us? Patricia Gorecki doesn't deny that she owns the dogs, and she's more than willing to explain why she has so many.
Because I was going to start breeding again.
You're going to what?
Start breeding dogs again. It's not against the law to breed animals.
Breeding dogs is a profitable business, commanding as much as $100 per puppy. But Gorecki doesn't have a license to breed dogs, and this is the second time she's been accused of operating a puppy mill. In 1998, animal welfare authorities found 118 dogs and 34 cats on Gorecki's property in Worth. She was convicted and served 10 days in jail. This time, if convicted, Gorecki faces up to a year in jail and a $2,500 fine.
This is a totally inhumane way to keep an animal. Nothing should have to live like this.
Now, authorities say that Gorecki will eventually be subpoenaed to court. She's expected to be charged with breeding dogs without a license and cruelty to animals. Now, you heard me say just a few seconds ago actually, that there were 60 dogs found in the shed. Workers have just told me that actually inside that shed they found 101 dogs and puppies. They think there are another 20 dogs inside of the home. On top of that, there are at least 20 cats around here. And as bad as those pictures look, the smell around here is 10 times worse than that. They are really doing these dogs the best thing for them, getting them out of here. Linda?
Dorothy, sadly, we have covered this same woman before doing the same kind of thing. I know that we always get a lot of phone calls from viewers after a story like this. Is there anything you can tell us that we can pass on to the viewers about what is going to happen to these animals?
Well, you've got the animal welfare services out here. These animals will be placed in animal shelters at various shelters around the area. So if they have any interest, they really should just kind of contact the animal welfare services.
All right, Dorothy Tucker and Joliet, thank you.
More questions are being raised today about a controversial...
More than 100 dogs and cats found living in squalor will get a new lease on life. An alleged puppy mill where more than 100 dogs and cats were being kept diseased, dirty, and abused. The animals, some of them pure breeds, are being treated now and are up for adoption. Burley Hines has today's update.
Got some terrible teeth. A lot of infection in the mouth.
One of the dogs rescued from a filthy puppy mill is examined by the vet at the South Suburban Animal Welfare in Chicago Heights. More than 100 dogs and cats were found living in deplorable conditions in a shed behind the home owned by Patricia Gorecki. The dogs were in cages stacked on top of each other.
They were all filthy, severe dermatitis, ear infections, mouth infections. Some of them had serious eye infections. Just poorly cared for.
After seeing the story, hundreds of callers expressed interest in adopting some of the puppies. The doctor had good news.
I think that with proper treatment, they can come around and be good pets.
Animal welfare investigators raided Gorecki's shed after a call from a buyer of one of Gorecki's dogs. The buyer was upset over the condition of the pet. Authorities say many of these dogs, the Bijons, the Lhasa Apsos, are pure breeds, which would cost hundreds of dollars from breeders. The Welfare Society is letting them go at a bargain.
Our adoption rate is $55, could go up to $65 for a purebred dog.
Anyone interested in adopting should call the South Suburban Animal Welfare at 708-755-PETS. That's 708-755-7387. Burley Hines, CBS 2, Chicago.
Animal Welfare Society is also hoping to get some donations to help cover the cost of the veterinarian bills and medications for the animals who are sick.
Well, you don't have to leave to Chicago to find animals like these.